Welcome to 2004 Podcast Odyssey. I'm Javon Gordon.
I'm Bobby DeVore.
And this is the final episode of the second season of Moral Orel. Two-parter, but technically one episode.
Yeah, we're just
one
going to say
double
it's
length
one episode, yeah.
Technically, all 11 minutes, the 11 minutes of both episodes would be like, maybe like a average episode of television.
Yeah, like a 22-minute.
Yeah.
Because math.
Yeah. So, I don't like to count.
We know that.
You can count on me though.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is right. You don't have any missing phalanges.
Yeah. You can count on my fingers.
10 times.
In the rings around me.
You saying if you like get cut open?
Yeah.
You can count the rings?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this episode is it's nature.
This episode's called Nature. It's one of the most. It's not only the finale of season 2. It's the episode that pretty much defines season 3. The sensibility of season 3, the mixture of comedy and drama. This is not as dark as Moral Orel got, but it was as dark as it got up to that point.
It's kind of the crux, right? Tipping point, maybe.
It's a tipping point, and then season 3 took it all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what we should do?
Also, a lot of season 3 chronologically revolves around this episode.
Oh yeah, we talked about that on the last episode.
Yes.
That we did. So you know what we should do? Probably we should do a little research and do a little coverage on why the show got canceled.
It got canceled because Mike Laszlo,
mm-hmm.
the guy who used to ran until very recently, Adult Swim, thought the show got too dark in season 3.
Really?
Yes. He was like, this is like stoner stoner comedy shows. You're going way too far. Specifically an episode in season 3 where we'll get to it. I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay.
All right.
You could have just like not said anything about it.
No, I'm gonna.
Instead of
it's not a
opening it up
spoiler.
little bit. Okay.
I'm just telling you there's an episode.
Oh, are we gonna get to it like later in the show?
Yeah, when we get to that episode.
Oh no, I thought you meant in this episode. Okay.
Oh, not in this episode.
So this episode affected me a little bit. There are some things.
It's emotionally affecting television.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, like, there was nothing else. So on Adult Swim, has there been anything that's been more dark or dark?
As dark, you mean?
Yeah, as dark.
Oh, you want it darker. I burn the flame. I don't know. I don't know the lyric. But, well, let me think. Do you mean as dramatic and dark?
More as dramatic than...
Probably an anime.
Dude, can I, for real though, just cough in the mask, dude. Like, put your mouth over the mask and cough in the mask. Like, you're defeating the purpose of wearing the mask by coughing outside of the mask.
Oh my god, this is wasting time.
No, dude.
You gotta get back. No,
seriously.
Get back. Sorry.
This is not good.
Moral Orel's we gotta get back. We're on Moral Orel's time. Orel's gonna whip us if we don't get back to it.
See? See how easy that is? I mean, fuck, you don't even really have to cover your mouth when you cough with a mask on.
All right, back. Sorry, see?
Yeah, see how easy that makes it?
See how the coughing we just did? You see how nobody wants to listen to that?
Fuck.
See how the red...
Fucking sympathy coughing now.
Yep. I'm sympathy crying. My nose is running.
I've
got
been
diarrhea. I'm pre-coming.
Sympathy pre-cum.
Yep.
When
I see my bros come, I come. Actually, I'm so connected with my bros that when they come and their girlfriends,
you feel it?
Yeah.
You feel the same thing?
I feel what their girlfriends are feeling. Look, yeah, you did that, bro. Wherever I am.
Jesus, man. So this whole episode, we're gonna continue to refer to it by one episode instead of two parts.
Because it is.
So this whole episode revolves around Moral and
Moral and Clay.
Oral.
Oral's, okay.
Oral and Clay.
God damn it.
Going on a father-son bonding hunting trip.
Yes.
Clay. What brings it about that Clay realizes that it's time to take his son hunting for the first time?
I don't remember. Did you write that down?
No.
I don't think there's any big. I think it's just like, I think he did some. I think at the beginning of the episode, supply Oral had just done some ridiculous again.
Yeah.
And then after he decides he's not going to whoop him, I think, and he's like, you know what? I think it's time for us to go on a hunting trip to bond. I'm going to make you a man. I guess this is his idea.
Yeah.
Because his son's soft and nice and shit.
Because, like, Oral's in Clay's study. This is, like, the first scene we see. I guess Clay gets done whipping him, and then he's like, I'm not going to lecture you anymore. I don't have anything in me. So they're just standing there for, like, a couple minutes, awkwardly.
Not in the episode.
I thought so.
That was a different episode, I think.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, fuck it. So, and then Clay is like, yo, hunting. Look at all these guns. And then shows Oral what the camera has never seen, which is because it's behind the camera for the most part in Clay's study, or all scenes in Clay's study.
It's
behind
a comical
the camera.
reveal. It's that another part of the study that they never showed before, which is that Clay has this long hall filled with different types of guns, just filled with ancient weaponry.
Like ancient weaponry
of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, like there's a whole lot of shit.
From Shaolin.
Yes. And
Life in the Underground.
So then there's like this old gunny.
Old dirty bastard.
Which is the gun that's been passed down son to son, and
from Clay's father to Clay.
Yeah, and Clay to Oral and yada yada.
It's foreshadowing. The Clay doesn't give the gun to Oral because we learn why in the background episode of Clay's in season 3.
Oh, okay. So he does give him a different gun, a different handgun. And then they start packing for the trip. And Oral, being the responsible young lad that he is, has packed like a first aid kit.
And his dad, being the purveyor of bad lessons, says, get rid of that pussy shit. Discards the first aid kit.
There's like a first aid kit. He's got like a change of clothes, a lucky shirt, which comes up later, and like I think like some granola bars or some shit, some type of food source, like some type of snack or something.
Yeah.
And Clay's like, no, fuck that. We're gonna eat what we kill. And he throws all the shit away. And then basically it's like a fuck ton of guns, tint making stuff, and we find out once they get to their campsite.
You forgot the bluebird.
Liquor.
You skipped the bluebird.
Yeah, where's the bluebird come up?
You see the bird as they're driving to the campsite.
They haven't left necessarily. Like I didn't skip it. We're like right at the park. Because I said the amount of stuff that they brought, and we find out when they get to the campsite that most of what Clay packed was liquor.
Yeah, but you skipped it. Because before they got to the campsite, we see the bluebird.
If I skipped it, I barely skipped it. Like you could have just brought it up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I want to talk about the bluebird though.
Okay.
I want to talk about the bluebird now.
Yeah, you can bring it up like that.
All right. So the bluebird is a symbol that shows up in the episode. It's very subtle. I didn't notice it the first couple times I saw the episode.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess maybe you pointed it out to me is why I noticed it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't even know what type of bird it is. It's like a really big bird.
Yeah. Green finch and linnet bird. It's neither of those types of birds.
And we see the bird a bunch in multiple scenes.
Yeah, he's just there during prominent scenes in the episode.
So then
and he's a symbol of something for Oral. We'll tell you at the end.
So excuse me, continue talking.
You were about to say something, so
yeah, but I had to unlock my computer.
Okay, continue.
I was hoping you would take over. So they get to the campsite, and Clay's literally built a tent for his liquor. Like he's built a little liquor cabinet.
About as much. There's no tent for either of them, just a tent for his liquor to hold his liquor.
Yeah.
And so they're hunting, and Clay wants Oral to kill some animals.
Yeah.
But
multiple occasions.
Oral is a sensitive, soft boy.
Yeah, wants to kill some rabbits.
A good-natured boy.
Yeah, he wants them to kill some rabbits. They're hiding out. They're gonna sneak up on these rabbits, and they're gonna kill this rabbit.
Yeah, he's coming right at me. No,
and
it's a South Park joke.
And nothing. Huh? Just he can't do it. And then it turns out there's a bunch more rabbits come and like are having fun and dicking around with him a little bit. And then he tries to kill a deer. The deer comes up, starts looking at Oral. He's like, I can't kill this thing.
I mean, we don't have to go into detail about every single element of that.
Yeah, but it helps, you know.
No, we can just like review it in general.
Okay.
We can like just give an overview of these kind of ancillary scenes.
And then like so one of one of Clay's justifications for why it's okay or why we have to kill animals is to save them from, like, isn't it like kind of getting rid of the burden of nature for them, or like getting rid of he explains it somehow. How's he explain why it's important to kill animals?
He gives a typical Clay Puffington fucked up justification for why they have to kill the animal,
and like he calls them stupid because they eat grass. And everyone knows that grass is nature's carpet.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to judge your neighbor based on how their lawn looks.
Yeah, these are good jokes more than anything.
Yeah.
These aren't really...
Yeah, but they're important.
They're important as they're character shading and they're jokes. But they are, like...
I mean, I'm trying to bring up, basically, I'm trying to build the story, I guess.
And while Clay... So, he gets more and more frustrated with Oral's refusal to actually kill an animal. Yeah. Oral's putting the effort to think about it, but he's nervous every time.
Yeah.
And so Clay starts aggressively drinking in Oral's face. He's drinking the entire time, and he starts drinking in Oral's face aggressively.
Yeah. Come to think of it, he doesn't even ever, like, shoot the gun. Like, Oral has not shot... Like, when you go hunting, you're supposed to shoot a gun before you go hunting. You're supposed to know how to shoot a gun. I've never been hunting. At least shoot a target. Have you shot a gun before?
Yeah, I've shot a gun. I've never been hunting.
Yeah, okay. I've never been hunting. Well, technically, I've been hunting once, but we were hunting squirrels and I didn't kill anything. So.
That's still hunting.
Yeah, it
very
wasn't
minor
like a
hunting.
trip. Yeah, and we didn't even get close to killing anything. So
yeah.
But what was I gonna say? So then, doesn't he Clay accidentally kills a dog?
No, he purposely kills the dog.
Okay, because it's like the next animal they see.
Yes, the next animal they see. Clay purposely kills a dog that turns out to be some guy's hunting dog. Yeah. And he says the dog's name, and then the guy goes, "That's my dog," as Clay grabs the dog and they run off.
Yeah, and then they're eating the dog.
Yeah, Clay starts grilling the dog over the fire. He eats the dog.
Yeah,
he's eating the dog, not Oral.
Oral chooses to be hungry, and so
because again he says we kill whatever we eat, and no snacks.
Eat whatever you kill, and they hang the dog's head up.
Yeah,
Clay hangs the dog's head up on the tree nearby, and it says "Tasty the dog." Yeah, because they eat the fucking dog, and so as everything goes, they start talking. As the night falls, Oral
getting increasingly annoyed and resentful of his father's shitty behavior on the trip so far, including killing a dog and the drinking. And he actually finally says what I think was foreshadowed. Well, Oral's aware that his dad drinks a lot. Yeah, and he finally says the word drunk about Dad. Yeah. He says, I think you're drinking too much or something.
I think you're too drunk.
Yeah, that's it.
And because he wants to go home. Yeah. And he's like trying to battle with, I want to go home, but also I think you're too drunk to get us home. So it's safer if we're here.
Does he say that?
He doesn't say it, but it's kind of implied.
I don't think that's implied either.
Well, because he says he wants to go home.
I think you're just implying your logic to it.
No. Oral says he wants to go home.
Yeah, I know.
But he also says you're too drunk, like immediately after. And then
I think he's saying but Oral's a kid, so I don't think that's part of it. I think he's just saying I want to go home. Also, you're too drunk, as in like your drinking is annoying me, and now it's annoyed me so much I want to go home. Yeah.
But also like his safety, like he understands the safety aspect of it too. He understands like he's because he's flailing the gun around. Yeah. And he's like, "Dad, you're too drunk. I don't think you should be pointing a gun." Yeah. So I think he also is like, "I want to go home, but we're gonna stay here because you're too drunk to get us home." I
didn't get that.
I kind of got that. That might be a little projection. I'm not 100%.
Yeah. Safety first from Bobby. I thought Bobby takes safety lessons. So dramatic scenes of TV shows. Bobby's like, at this point, Hamlet's like, this is why you shouldn't just stab things that were behind curtains randomly. That's the lesson.
The meaning "et tu brute" is supposed to be don't run into people's backs with knives.
The meaning of, in this scene, it shows that you shouldn't put poison in your brother's ear. Other Shakespeare jokes. You shouldn't fake suicide to your lover so he doesn't drink poison.
That's all I got.
You got any other? You shouldn't, trying to think of, that's why you shouldn't, no, that's actually the lesson of Macbeth. You shouldn't let, ambition get the best of you. Yeah. It's like the lesson of Macbeth. I was trying to think of a safety joke, but I couldn't.
I was trying to think of everything from the story of Beowulf, because I don't remember Beowulf.
I remember nothing in Beowulf. I barely remember the movie with Zemeckis mate.
Not even a clue. I don't even remember that.
You don't remember that? That's the first time I heard of Beowulf.
And basically Clay breaks. Clay breaks down, starts talking about how the liquor is not working for him anymore.
He starts crying, and he goes on this very bitter, misogynistic rant about how alcohol, like personifying the alcohol as a woman.
Yeah.
And saying, they're all whores, whores, all of them, every one of them. And,
one of them, Morty, is what you sound like.
Oh, it's because I'm clearing my throat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were doing Rick.
No, I'm just clearing my throat.
So he breaks. Clay, and it's intentionally written this way.
I'm gonna be honest.
He starts talking about blight.
We took a break for a second there to remind ourselves of what happened in the episode. We kind of rewatched a big chunk of the episode.
He says, we instead of recording the day of, we've recorded days later.
And our memory was spotty.
Yeah.
Spotty Pippin. So we just reminded ourselves.
Yeah. So Clay begins this rant.
Self-pitying, angry rant.
Drunk rant.
Yeah.
Incoherent psychobabble. So Orel is hungry, as Clay's eating that dog he just killed. Orel's hungry. He's like, you didn't bring any other food. They have an argument about all this food with legs around them, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go kill something so I can eat. Orel does, and then he's like, on second thought, maybe we should just call it a day. And this sparks sort of Clay's rant, and Clay goes into something.
He says some. Just got to read the notes, man.
Basically, so after Orel says he thinks they should call it a day. Oh, Clay's like, I knew it. That's what I thought. I knew it. And then that leads Orel to say that he's not comfortable.
What Clay meant, he's like, he knew you knew you weren't going to kill anything. You weren't going to actually go and kill anything.
And Orel then is like, I think you're too drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable around you right now. When you drink, you turn into a bad person. And
then Clay says, let me tell you something, Orel. Drunk is nature.
Yeah.
And he goes on this, this drunken rant with misogynistic undertones, self-pitying undertones.
Yeah.
It's both a comedic and dramatic rant. There's this part where he talks about how women pull you in and then you pull in and you pull out or something like that. So it's like there's sex jokes in it.
They make you stay in and pull out and stay in, and they start squeezing you right where it counts.
Yeah.
And then they squeeze these things out of you that feel like weight around your shoulders or something, and yada.
He also, there's this one part where he says, my life is filled. You should be like your old man.
Well, he's like, you know what, Orel? Your glass is always half empty. You should be more like your old man. My glass is half full.
You should look.
My life is sunny and blight.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Orel's like, you mean bright? And he's like, no. Bright is the opposite of blight. Means horrible and
it means sudden withering death.
Yeah. So that's the exact quote.
Yes.
And then he goes on about how his life is bright.
So he switched the words bright and blight.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh my god, my life is blight and meager. And then he's like, why do you have to quit working?
Why did you quit working on me? He says it to his bottle of alcohol.
Yeah, which he's like imagining has a face, right?
He's personifying it.
Is there a face though?
What?
On the bottle.
It's his reflection.
Oh.
That's just Clay's reflection.
Yeah, okay. And then he's like, she always tricks me.
There was no lady face with with lipsticked up lips making a kissy face at her.
Okay.
That would have been funny, but they want to be serious.
She always tricks me, Orel. And then he goes on that misogynistic rant about, and it's all like, he's done shit throughout.
He's got flies on his face during it. It's probably the most dramatic lighting that the show ever pulled off.
It's very dramatic.
And it's a hell of a voice performance by Scott Adsit, who voices Clay.
Something I didn't know until this episode. Because you said it when we were first watching it. It's a hell of a performance by Scott Adams. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize that.
You forgot it was him?
Yeah.
Then I've told you multiple times that it's him.
Probably, but you told me last time, too.
Oh.
And it's like the stay in, pull out, and then you have nowhere to go and nowhere to be at a certain point, yada yada.
And no one to be.
And no one to be. Oh, that's what he said. Okay.
Yes.
That makes more sense. And Orel, like, because his dad's drunk and standing up and yelling at him, he gets scared because his dad fucking beats him. And normally with the belt. And
I don't think he's scared, but he's like, I don't think it has anything to do with the whoopings. I think he's just scared because an adult is just like raving mad in front of him.
Oh, okay.
Like a way a child would be if any adult was waving mad in front of him. So he starts squeezing the gun out of nervousness and fear.
And the gun goes off.
Yeah, and then this is when in the original like 2-parter separated version of the show of the episode. The next episode opens up with like that was like the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And the next part opens up with it turns out what Orel shot wasn't his dad. It was his dad's last 2 bottles of alcohol.
Yeah. And this man brought an entire like
bar with him.
Yeah, like he brought
not even the whole liquor collection.
Yeah.
Whole cabinet.
And Jesus, man. So and then what happens? After it's like, oh, he gets angry and
that Orel tries to pull his.
No, that's when Orel says you turn into a bad person when you drink. That's when Orel says that.
Is it?
Yeah, after he shoots the notes, after he shoots the bottles, and then Clay tries to whip him with his belt. Yeah, but he can't get his belt off. And we see this man.
And it's the most pathetic display of the usual way the main way he interacts with his son, honestly, is the whoopings and his like a parental display of parental authority.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Yeah. Fails to pull the belt off. His pants are down. He falls over.
He falls over the liquor tent.
Gets in a fetal position and starts crying.
And
passes out.
He doesn't pass out at that point.
What happened? Doesn't he pass out?
He sits down. And he's like, you know what, son? It's time you become a man. Where's my rifle?
Oh yeah, and he just starts randomly aiming it while Orel's like, don't do that. And he's it's like, there are no mistakes or something like that.
Yeah, he brings that up a bunch.
Yeah.
No mistakes, no blunders, no oopsies.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring it back up.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let you not bring that up.
Yeah.
And then he's looking down the barrel. Like, you see the crosshairs. Shoots fucking Orel. He just shoots him.
In the leg on accident. But, yeah, he did shoot his son.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh my God, Orel, what have you done?
Yeah, because he can't accept responsibility for anything he does.
Ever.
That, again, is foreshadowing to what we learned in season 3.
Yeah. So then he's like, Orel, what have you done? And he's like, you shot me, Dad. You shot me in the leg. And he's just like, well, you need to be more careful, son.
Well, he says it more like in pain instead of the anger. The angry. Yeah. Sort of deadpan.
Yeah. Angry. At that point, like, you have no emotion.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
wait, when does he say I hate you?
He says I hate you.
Before he gets shot or after?
After he says I hate you. He says I hate you after.
Okay.
So then he's like, I have I need a tourniquet for this fucking wound. He's like, a shirt would work, Orel says, and he's instead of that, his dad Clay rips Orel's lucky shirt, and he's like,
wait, no, you're not. I'm okay. So he says.
Who says?
Orel says he like to get his stuff out of his first aid kit, right?
No, they need to make the tourniquet first. He rips his shirt first.
Yeah, no. Okay, he says I need a tourniquet. A shirt would work, and he means like Clay pull his shirt.
Yeah.
But instead, Clay rips Orel's shirt, which is his lucky shirt.
And he says, my lucky shirt, and Clay's like,
My lucky gun beat your lucky shirt.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not really working out for you, eh? And then he's like, I have some disinfectant in my first aid bag. And Clay's like, first aid bag? I thought I told you not to bring that.
Yeah.
And then he gets the rubbing alcohol out, says this is going to sting a bit.
Is about to do it, then like drinks it because he's a hopeless alcoholic piece of shit.
Yeah, and it will sting a bit.
Yeah.
Rubbing alcohol. And
I mean, that's a thing everyone knows.
Yeah. And then he passes the fuck out.
Yeah.
And Orel just sits there for like 14 hours.
Wait, when does he shoot the bear?
Oh, that happens after. Clay
like, is that immediately
passes out. Not immediately. Clay's out after a while.
Is that like a day or like how many?
Like a little bit of time passes. Maybe like, that all happens as the sun's going down. He shoots the bear when it's pitch black out.
Oh yeah, and he says, my dad's a jerk while he shoots a bear that's about to attack his dad or in him while he's asleep. He says, sorry, Mr. Bear, my dad's a jerk.
Yeah.
And so he shoots the bear, and like there's after that they're there for like
13 hours is what Orel says.
It seems there's a couple days past.
I thought so. It's only 13 hours. Because what happens, Clay wakes up.
The night passed, right?
Yeah, the night passed. Clay wakes up in the morning, has Orel put Orel's sleeping bag over Clay's face.
Yeah.
Then falls back asleep for like 13 more hours.
And then he wakes up as the sun's setting.
Yeah. And he's like, what happened here?
And he sees the dead bear, and he's like, Orel, please tell me. Please make me happy and tell me that you shot the bear. And Orel gets his first kid that's resentful of their parent, like, petty. I mean, he's right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like, I'm not going to say I'm not condemning him for doing it, but it is still, like, a petty thing. Like, it's not like an honorable act. It's just like he denies him the pleasure of knowing that his son killed something, which is what his dad wants to hear.
Yeah.
It would make him happy.
And then
and he says, no, you shot it.
And then he's like, what's going on here at his leg? And he's like, you shot me in the leg. And Clay's like, no, I didn't.
Oh yeah,
look. And Orel's like, look. And
well, I don't remember that, so it didn't happen, is what he says. Because Clay doesn't take responsibility for anything he ever does.
It doesn't count. And then, so he gets him to Dr. Potter's wheel. He's going to cover it up real nice. And
then they head home, and Orel's in bed, and his mom made him breakfast. And she says, you should eat a lot of fatty foods so it clots up the... because all the adults around him, all they do is say the wrong thing, the wrong lesson always.
I don't even know if that is true or good to do.
No,
I feel like it's
definitely not.
Yeah. Okay.
And Orel asks his mom why they got married. And he says, why did you marry dad? And he's like, well, why not?
Yeah. And then he's like, well, it's like whenever he drinks, he changes. And Bluebird is like, no, he doesn't change. That just brings out his true nature.
Yeah.
Nature.
And that's the end of the episode. As we see the last shot of the blue bird of Orel's innocence outside the window, which is gone now due to this traumatizing trip where he no longer admires his father.
Yeah, and that really, like, we talked about it afterwards, like, one of the first times you, like, have that realization, like, this dude sucks. He doesn't have my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And, both of us having a similar background in that, like, it's one of those things, like, I kind of wish I had watched this as a kid.
Yeah.
Because, like, you brought up about Bobby Hill. Like, I always related to Bobby Hill.
Yeah.
And I realized that as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, at least he actually had a father that didn't understand him, but his father wasn't a bad person.
Yeah. His father, eventually, like, if...
He ultimately did accept his son.
Yeah. I feel like, and I don't want to, necessarily change topics into the reboot, but, eventually I feel like, well, the last episode of King of the Hill, they bond over grilling.
Yeah.
Because Bobby learns how to cook a steak.
Yeah.
And you kind of think that's where shit's gonna go. That's how it's gonna work. Eventually there's gonna be something. He may not completely understand him, but he still loves his kid.
Yeah.
Where Clay probably doesn't.
I don't think he has love for his family at all. I
don't think
he's a completely selfish being.
Yeah.
Yeah. No love for anybody.
Yeah. Not even love for himself.
Not for Danielle either.
Yeah. And is that foreshadowing?
Huh?
Is that foreshadowing what you just said?
Yeah, kinda.
And so
you know who I'm talking about, Danielle, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know, it was real interesting. And so one thing you had mentioned, you wanted to bring up. So at the end, the episode's actually dedicated to John Cassavetes.
Yes.
Whose name I'm sure I did not spell correctly.
He was a actor and director, the filmmaker of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, when 90s, whenever he actually died.
Yeah.
He starred in a lot of great films, and then he directed a lot of great films. He's a pioneer of early American independent cinema, making his films with a small, close-knit group of friends and investors and just people who believed in his vision in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. One of the most consistently being his wife, Gina Rollins. But he made him about like gritty, like real people issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this episode revolving around a familiar strife and a real world like.
When you say familiar, are you saying like familial?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
As well as familiar?
Yeah.
I mean, it is familiar to both of us, but it's familial.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know. It really it was beautifully done.
Yeah.
I mean, like
most dramatic lighting of the show with the misogynistic, drunken, self-pitying speech.
And like that speech is extremely well written.
Yeah.
The way it starts off with the drunkenness, the blight and bright mix up is very one. That's actually something like you can imagine that happening very easily.
Is that a malapropism? The bright and blight? The type of wordplay that is.
It wasn't a monopolism.
I said a malapropism.
I don't think that's what it was called. It was like it started with a P, the thing we were talking about earlier, if that's what you're bringing up.
No. That's a different type of wordplay. Malapropism.
The one you're talking about.
Use of a word in place of a similar sounding one. So yeah, that is what it is. Malaprop.
What did you think it was earlier? What did you think it was earlier?
No, I said I didn't think it was that. There was another example. There was an example of a spoonerism earlier in the episode.
Is what I was talking about. Yeah.
That was also in the episode, but not in the speech.
Oh, it's a spoonerism?
Huh?
Spoonerism? No, is that what it's called?
Good soy bond, when he says...
Yeah, but is that a spoonerism? I'm asking you to clarify the word.
Spoonerism.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's and I've seen episodes from season 3. I haven't seen it all in its entirety, and I know for a fact that it gets much darker here, and it is as beautifully written.
Yeah.
It's sad, and I mean, there's always a mix of comedy in it.
Yeah.
And I think there's always sort of a...
Probably the most dramatic, like, filmmaking of the series happens in season 3 as well.
Like, in terms of...
Well, not filming, just like the way they shoot it.
I guess cinematography.
Yeah,
is it still cinematography?
If it's it's claymation, so it's camera.
Yeah, okay.
They still have to shoot it with
it
cameras.
is anography then.
Yeah, they're taking pictures of things that they move like a centimeter a minute, and then they. That's why claymation takes forever. That's my
I mean, probably not even a centimeter. Probably millimeters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, also claymation. Like, you always think claymation is going to be smaller than it actually is. Like, anytime you see a set, like they're pretty big.
Yeah.
Like,
but they're smaller than humans.
Yeah. But it's like relative.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think claymation is like one of the most cost-worthy. Like,
what, cost-worthy?
Costly. Yeah, is what I meant.
Yeah.
It's like the least cost effective. Like, I would say it's right next to just hand done animation. I would say it goes hand drawn animation, claymation, and then like CGI. But CGI is way cheap nowadays. I would actually love to see sort of hand drawn animation through computer graphics, like a little less, like more frame by frame drawing than like creating a character and then having a manipulatable sort of scheme to that character.
What do you mean?
Like, if you've ever seen like certain shows, they have programs. Basically, you have a character and you map out all their movements, and then you can just like make the character move with already generated graphics instead of hand drawing every frame.
I'm still not
like, you know how there are like animation loops in old school cell style animation?
Yeah.
It's basically like there are those loops.
Yeah. Do you have an example? Because I don't know what you mean.
I'm thinking of one, but it's like behind the scenes footage of some show I've seen.
Do you know the show? I mean,
no, it's not something I could show you. It's like a memory thing that's like vague.
I mean, if you just told me the show, I could probably.
I don't know the show. In my head, there is no show. I know what I'm talking about.
No idea what you're talking about, man.
But like, yeah, I don't know. But that was Moral Orel, season 2, Ender, Nature. Stay tuned for season 3. We're gonna cover it a little bit differently. And yeah, this has been 2004 Podcast Odyssey. I'm Bobby DeVore.
I'm Javon Gordon.